Hey everyone, it's Time Spiraled. Welcome back to some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Set reviews. This time around, we've got Grishnax here with me, helping me kind of like collect my thoughts on set number 4, Pharaoh's Servant. If you've missed the previous video, we tackled the first 3 sets back to back since we were already midway through recording the first 2 episodes. I felt it was good to just get those 3 right out of the way. But from now on, we're going to be doing 1 set at a time. And as a little bonus, if you look up at the top of my screen, you can probably already see what's coming. We'll also be touching base on the tournament packs that we'll have access to during that period. I assume there's not going to be too much to talk about at this point, but it'll be nice to point out some cards that might be interesting. So, Grishnax, thanks again for joining in for this. I really appreciate it.
No problem. It's fun to be here.
So Grishnax is a longtime Progression Series fan, and even before I started mine, it's Grishnax and I used to talk a lot about the big main Progression Series. So it's nice to finally be in sort of the same seat and kind of go through following in the footsteps. So it's nice to give that a shot. All right,
I've also
Pharaoh's.
done
Yep,
a progression series of my own up to about the XCs era. We didn't finish, but
that's actually really good. I didn't even know that you had gone all the way to XCs. That's good.
yeah.
That's quite a ways. And I'll be honest, I don't know if we're gonna get that far. My friends and I are having a great time. I'm having a great time. If ever it happened that like scheduling wise my friends could no longer do it, I'm pretty sure I would try and find 2 more people to do it again because I'm really enjoying making this content. So fingers crossed. Okay. So again, I always say the same thing. Even though I'm really new to playing Yu-Gi-Oh, having only touched it a little bit in height, like end of elementary school, middle school, and I'm talking way back in like, when the like I started when it started at Legend of Blue Eyes, but when like the theme decks that came out was like the Ocean Dragon, Neo Daedalus, and like the Fire Water. That's what I had. That's what we were playing with. So
Right.
it's like still pre Yu-Gi-Oh GX, I believe. So I haven't played in a long, long time. So a lot of my knowledge purely comes from progression series. So if they haven't really played a card or mentioned it, I probably don't know about it, which is good because I discover new things. So like we did last time, I'm gonna go card by card. If I think it's bad, I'll say it's bad. If I think it's good or I know it might be possible, I'll say it. And if I'm totally wrong or totally right, Grishnax, you just chime in whenever you want. So
Absolutely.
okay, we'll do commons, we'll do short prints, and then we'll do the normal rarity stuff. So Burning Land right off the bat. Destroys field spells and is a continuous, and then everyone starts taking 500 damage.
It lets burn be a bit more
Yeah,
real.
yeah, because I'll be honest, looking at some of the burn cards that we have access to, I don't have access to a lot. In fact, you know what? I'll just pull up my collection at the same time. I really don't have access to like the good stuff, but I know that Crimpy does. I have like 2 copies of Final Flame as my best burn spell, but Crimpy has access to, and I don't remember the name, but or maybe I have access to one. Hold up, is it Tremendous Fire? Is
Tremendous
Tremendous?
Fire is the 1,000 to your opponent, 500 to
Oh,
you, I
okay.
believe.
So okay, I do have access to that. Um, I have 2 of them. Okay, so I've got 2. I think Crimpy's got the full 3. So I have that, and then I have the 600 one, which is Final Flame, which I don't think is particularly good, but like 1,000 feels like a real amount of damage. So
If you're playing burn, that's the card you want to be playing.
cool. So well, Burning Land just looks like it. Okay, so again, you know how I'm coming at this from Magic the Gathering. Burning Land just makes me think of like mana barbs. It
Yeah.
destroys lands, and then you start taking damage. Like obviously not at all the same thing, but conceptually. And no one no one played field spells, I believe, last time, but and it's gonna be really weird because obviously we're filming this out of order of publishing. I've built my deck for Magic Ruler. I haven't played my deck for Magic Ruler, but this video will come out after the Magic Ruler video. So just all that to say that I maybe be considering running some field spells. So I'm wondering if my opponents are going to do that. So I'll keep an eye on Burning Land for after that because I got a feeling eventually, it'll be good.
If
But
people do play field spells, this is pretty decent removal for them, and you have access to some decent field spells now.
yeah,
As of, I can't remember if it's the last set or the set prior.
Magic Ruler is the one that adds all the 500 attack boosts for an
Right,
attribute
that's
that
the
loses
one.
defense, which is fine. And of note, like it also has stuff like I think it's Chorus Sanctuary or It's the one that increases all defense by Chorus of Sanctuary increases defense of everything by 500 points. So of all
Right.
defense position monsters. So like there's a few field spells, but I don't know if this
Honestly, I wouldn't
card's
consider playing this unless you
yeah,
unless
okay.
you were on a burn strategy.
That's what I was thinking too. Because I'm like event like this it's pretty narrow. Like we're gonna get eventually access. I mean, I don't have anything right now, but like we'll eventually get like mystical space typhoons and stuff like that. And we won't have to rely solely on a very niche hit only field spell. So keeping an eye on it for now, keeping an eye on it for burn. I don't think this will see a lot of play, but it's good to know this exists. Ground collapse. Select two main monster zones. No one can use them, and you can't select ones that are already occupied by monsters. This doesn't seem all that great.
Not good at all. I would
That's
not play.
okay. Good.
Just
Um,
absolutely unplayable.
insect barrier. So I already know about insect barrier DNA surgery. It's funny because the cards are like virtually almost next to each other, and I know about it because of progression series. And so yeah, I know it's a deck. So I know if you get like three insect barriers, three DNA surgeries, you can do that by making all insects, and then your opponent can just never attack unless they can get through it.
You don't even need three of each. Like 3 and 2, maybe even 2 and 2
All
is
right.
enough to play the package.
I got a feeling eventually that falls off, like once your opponent can like pick it apart more easily. And my Zphil has a Trunade and a Heavy Storm, I believe. So
Damn.
I'm not necessarily looking to play this kind of deck because, you know, he can clear everything really well. But I know it exists. So let's that's insect barrier, that's DNA surgery.
I could
Um
also see this being good to pair with a burn deck.
yes, all right. Yeah, you keep them from doing anything and then they eventually die to yeah,
Yeah,
okay, there's a package there. We'll keep that in mind. Inspection looks like garbage.
it
During your
is.
opponent's standby, 500 life points to just look at a card. That seems like a waste of a card and of my life points, so not even going to bother with that. Infinite Dismissal. Level 3 or lower monsters are destroyed during the end phase of the turn that they are normal summoned or flip summoned, but not special summoned, correct? So,
Yeah.
um, so this seems unfortunately really niche and like of the 3 stars that are being played is like what right now? Sangan and Witch, and then everything else is 4 star and above, right?
Which is
So
4.
oh
Most of the cards you're going to be playing at this time are 4.
then yeah, Sangan and that's it? Like
I believe Giant Germ and
okay, well I will be, I'm sure some of us will play
Nimble
Germs and
Momongo.
Nimble Mamungas, but it's only when they're flip summoned or normal summoned, but not set, right?
Now,
So even if they get like flipped in battle, this doesn't do anything. I feel like this isn't gonna see play. Like it seems like it could be good, but I'm not sure I'll be using it.
I don't think it's good at this point in the
Yeah,
game.
I'll keep it in
Four
mind
stars are
for
kind of the name of the game.
yeah. All right, Light of Intervention. While this card's on the field, monster cards cannot be set or flipped face down. If a monster card would be set, it's normal summon in face up defense position. That's niche, but kind of neat, I guess. Like,
This is good as a counter to specific strategies.
it counters flip, right?
Yeah, it counters flip.
Okay.
So later on, when the Pac-Man deck becomes viable, this
Yeah,
is a very good counter to it.
it's because I
Or
think
if your
all of
opponent is
us.
playing, say, Shadal's
Yeah.
way off in the future, this is something reasonable to play.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
as a main deck, unless you know you're going
Okay.
up against that kind of deck,
Yeah.
it's not worth it. And even more so in your series, I think, where you don't have sideboards
Yeah.
and you're playing against 2 people. So if
Yep.
one person's on Pac-Man and another person's playing aggro, uh, this card's going to be super dead versus aggro.
Yeah. It's gonna be quite different from the 1v1 progression series where you can sideboard, but I think that's fine. I think asking us to not only learn the game but also learn proper sideboarding is already a big ask. Like we're already gonna have to learn extra decks and like unfortunately not too far, but you know. I have there's like a lot of cyber jars rolling around though. I'll remember that
That's
if anyone's
true.
going cyber jar tomfoolery or other stuff that light of intervention exists.
If a deck gets broken enough, this is a totally reasonable card to play as a 1 or 2 of.
Yeah, I don't think I run much more than that.
Like, it's
Um
dead in one matchup, but sometimes you just lose to a deck hard enough that you have to play something that counters it.
yep. Minor Goblin Official, activated only when your opponent's life points are 3,000 or less, and then it starts chipping away 500. Is this also kind of like falls into Burn maybe plays it, but
Burn maybe plays it.
the
I think
fact,
that's fair.
yeah,
I
I think
think
the
Burn might play one, but I don't think you'd ever play more
no,
than
I
that.
would I would hate to have like multiple of these in my opening hand and my opponent's at 8K. I feel like that's like just a horrible way to lose. So,
I don't
good.
think this is strictly speaking unplayable in a dedicated burn deck. I just think you play exactly one at most.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't think it's going
That's
to do anything more than that.
I agree with that. Respect play, I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. I would not like to spend a card
Absolutely.
to let my opponent see my hand. Um, Solemn Wishes looks cute as like a counter burn because every time you draw, you gain 500. But and there's no
It's
like
not great.
maximum. It's not. It doesn't feel great, but it feels like cute. So I'll remember it exists.
If
I'm
someone has a killer burn deck, that's the counter card. I think
I
that's the way to look at it.
I don't think I have the pieces for like the real burn. Like even with things like Germ and the flames and stuff, we'll see. I don't think I'll be the one getting there. But Crimpy did bring a burn package to episode 2 as a way to like finish off opponents that were
Yeah. I
under
think
2000. So
I think it's not worth it playing against a burn package. Only if they're fully
hmm
dedicated to burn
yeah,
is
then
where I'd consider it.
I don't think that's gonna happen for a while. So I'm not. I don't know. I don't think that's gonna happen too much. So
Yeah, and it isn't even that great to begin with. Like if someone ever gets a chain burn deck, I would never play Solemn Wishes
no,
against it
because
because
chain
chain
burn's
burn
just gonna
just
kill you,
burns out
right?
too efficiently.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like chip day. Yeah, exactly. All right. Eye of Truth. Opponent must keep their hands revealed, and then if they have spells in their hand, they gain a bunch of life. I don't want to play this card.
No, it's
Why?
not
Why
good.
are there so many cards in this set that are like, look at your opponent's hand? It's like
I don't know.
inspection,
Maybe they were
respect
trying out a
play.
theme.
Yeah, but no
This
kidding.
was the experimental age of
Yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh.
yeah, yeah. It's just funny because like you think, oh, it's going to be at least hand attack. Like, I know, is it Zphil again? I think Zphil pulled Delinquent Duo as well last. Like
Oh
you're gonna
god,
see,
that card is
you're gonna
brutal.
see, but there's some Delinquent Duos that are gonna come out. So little spoilers there. It's gonna be great. But again, it's spoilers for you, not spoilers for our listeners, because this is gonna happen after the magic. It's so weird. But I do need to talk about it because of this set. So anyway, you're getting a bit of the pack preview there. But yeah, Eye of Truth looks like garbage. Regulation of Tribe, declare a type of monster. Monsters of the declared type cannot attack. And then I got to keep tributing monsters. Okay.
The cost is too high.
The cost
The
seems
cost is just too
extreme.
high.
Crimpy and I and Zphil, but like really Crimpy, we've been talking a lot about how do you equate resources in Magic the Gathering to Yu-Gi-Oh! And one of the things we're thinking is like, well, in Yu-Gi-Oh!, especially at this stage, yeah, there's no mana, but you have one normal summon a turn. And if you're spending that normal, well, you're spending that summon point is what we've been calling it, and now you're just getting rid of it each turn, and then they're just not attacked. You're not gonna make it because
I
when you
will
run out
say,
of,
even in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, there's a lot of decks that care about that one normal summon.
well, there we go. Well,
Because
it's yeah,
sometimes if
yeah.
you can cut off the one normal summon, they can't do anything.
Yeah, because I know the math changes further down, right, with all the
Yep.
like special summons and chains and extra deck stuff. But that normal summon, yeah, is always important.
Hmm.
It's why tribute doesn't really feel like it feels powerful, and this is really funny because coming from someone who was playing in middle school, tributing out a monster feels fantastic in the sense that like it's a big play, it's splashy, you see your stuff get like tributed, but it's such a bad use of resources when you go 3 for 1 and then your opponent answers with 1 card, right? That kind of thing. Um,
Oh, sure.
which is
Double
why,
tributing is
yeah,
generally not worth it in this era,
yeah, we're
unless you have a blue eyes and they can't get over it.
yeah. The biggest thing we
Uh,
have right now is Crimpy's Dark Magician. I'd say would be like the biggest,
yeah, and
and
I think
I
that's still
answered it.
very playable
Yeah,
at this stage.
I answered it like last episode. Like I used actually a 2 pronged attack against it because I'm like, well, he tributed 2 and played that. I'll tribute my 2 and get rid. Like like it was so weird. Um, but yeah, double tributing at this point doesn't feel great. I know later. I think Monarchs with the single summon is good and playable, and it will be obviously Monarchs are playable in this format. They'll be really good. But yeah, it's funny because tribute always felt great, and it's funny that the reality is no, tributing actually kind of bad.
Yeah.
Type Zero
Yu-Gi-Oh's
Magic.
always had to find a way to make 2 for 1ing yourself good because
Yeah,
if you look at later cards,
yeah,
you're 2 for 1ing to yourself whenever you summon an extra deck monster. in
Yep.
like most cases.
Yep. But at least the card
Uh,
didn't come from your hand, so to speak, right? So
that's true.
you don't have to draw it. It's more like it's kind of like, yeah, it's still two, but like in the sense that you're converting a 1 to 1 plus an extra resource, but that's you didn't have to draw it in the I don't know. It's a little, I guess it's a little different the math, but it is still going down, but sometimes it feels like really good. Like the XC stuff is great. Once you can just start getting those like lining up the levels and stuff, I'm excited for that. Once we if and when we get there, we'll see.
Yep.
All right. Good. I'm happy we can segue into stuff like that. For those of y'all watching, I hope that's fine. Just feel free to skip ahead to the next card if that's all you're here for. But I'm also here to talk about how I'm approaching this as a Magic player and how I feel it. So, Type Zero Magic Crusher. Discard a spell card from your hand to inflict 500 points of damage. Okay, is this another one of those like play maybe one and burn and then whatever
I
you end up
wouldn't
draw?
even play one and burn,
Yeah. Okay,
honestly.
so we're good.
You could make
Pass.
arguments for it, but I generally think any spell card in your hand is going to be worth more than 500
Cool.
damage.
Easy. All right. Easy pass then. Type Zero Magic Crusher. 0 copies. Deep Sea Warrior. So obviously it's a 1 tribute and it's only a 1600 and it's Umi. So I have a question about Umi. I know like future you'll get a legendary ocean. I don't even know if it's in this set, but there will be a legendary ocean. Does the card from Magic Ruler, which is, hold up, I'm currently searching monsters on my thing. There's Umi, and then there's Umi Ruka, and that's also got Umi in the name. That counts, right?
No, it doesn't actually.
Darn. Okay,
There is a difference
I thought I could
between
pull off.
an exact card name and something that has
Okay,
part of the card
so
name.
never mind. I'm not playing Umi just to play a 5 tribute Deep Sea Warrior that's unaffected by spell cards because my opponent will
Absolutely.
use trap cards. All right, bye Deep Sea Warrior. Anyway, it's probably not good even if it did work. Drill
I
Bug.
will say, in terms of syntax,
Yeah.
if we look at Deep Sea Warrior as an example, it says as long as Umi is face up on the field. This is specifying a specific card.
Okay.
If it was to say something like, as long as an Umi card is face up
Okay.
on the
Okay.
field,
Okay. Okay.
that
But
is
if
the
it,
difference in syntax.
okay,
Because
so
that means any card with Umi in its name.
because I know they
You
do
got some really
cool.
weird examples. Like
Yeah, I've seen
there
some
was a
awesome
card called Hundred
examples.
Eyes Dragon that technically counted as a Red Eyes monster until they changed the name to either add or remove the hyphen. I can't remember which one.
that's that's actually hilarious. I love it. I
Yeah.
love that this is like the one game where the name of the card kind of matters. It's cool stuff.
Oh
All
yeah,
right.
it's very important.
Drill Bug. When it inflicts battle damage to your opponent's life points, I can select a Parasite card from your deck, shuffle the deck, and place it on top of the deck. And I know where that card is. It's down in. It's a
It's a higher
rare or a
rarity
higher
card.
rare. Yeah, I remember looking at the art and being like, ugh,
It's pretty gross.
where are you? Is it a spell or a
It's a
trap?
super.
Super. Oh, yeah, of course. Okay.
Uh,
Oh no, it's a creature. It's an effect. It's
yeah,
okay. Flip. Put this card face up in your opponent's deck. Oh, okay. It shuffles that. Okay. I don't think this is gonna be worth it, but it's cool.
it's
Like
very
it's
funny.
flavorful.
And honestly, I played this in my Prog series, and
Yeah.
it was
Okay.
okay.
When your opponent
It
draws it.
wasn't like great, but it was funny.
Oh, and it forces them to become insects. I guess that's a
Yeah.
whole like that goes with the insect bear. Okay, there's like something there. I don't think we'll get there. Whoops, that's my little
I don't
alarm
think it's
there.
very good. And
Okay,
going back to the common, Drill Bug is not worth playing.
because it's like a
If it could attack
thousand.
directly, I would
Oh,
consider
okay.
it.
Hey, it doesn't attack directly.
But
I don't care. Okay, I thought it did. I
yeah,
like.
no, no, no. You
I
just have to
auto
get
thought
in with
about
an
that.
1100.
All right, nope. Invitation to a Dark Sleep, which is like a really cool name for a card. When it's summoned, but not special summoned, select one of your opponent's monsters. As long as it remains face up on the field, the selected monster cannot attack. So it's like a paralyzing potion that you tribute out.
I
Not the
wouldn't.
worst thing,
I
but I
wouldn't
don't
play it.
really want to play it because it's only 1500. Like,
I don't think it's worth it. If this thing
cool.
was like a 2000 body, I would maybe consider
Yeah,
it.
okay,
But
that's the thing. Yeah, it's a little thin on the body side. All right, Kisei Itai. When your opponent's monster attacks this card in face down defense position, pardon me, it becomes an equipped spell equipped to the attacking monster. During each of your opponent's standby phases, I increase my life points by half of the attack of the monster equipped with this card.
unplayable.
Yeah, and when it becomes an equipped spell, does it take up one of my spell slots as well? One of my
Yes.
okay, so no, I'm not too interested in that. If it like blanked the monster completely, like oh, when you attack this paralyzed potions them or something, and it wasn't just face down defense position, maybe, but we're still running block defense, so this thing will just be shifted to attack, and I'll be sad. So
Oh yeah, if this thing goes to attack, it's worthless.
Sword Hunter. So this is a 2.45. It's 2,450 per 7. It's not quite a Dark Magician, but at the end of the battle phase, if it destroyed a monster by battle sent it to the graveyard, you equip all those monsters from the graveyard to it as an equipped spell card with gains 200 attack. I
It's
don't
kind of
know.
neat, but I
It's
don't think it's
neat.
strong enough to play.
Yeah.
Two tributes is a big ask.
I'm sure my
And like
opponents are
Dark Magician
also
might even be falling off by this point.
yeah. Well, nobody else has something like we're still kind of clunking into each other. I think I'm still going to see Dark Magician for at least another
Okay.
week, if not more. But no, I don't want a Sword Hunter. It's interesting though. I guess the nice thing is that it takes the monsters that were destroyed. It doesn't put them in the opponent's graveyard. You get to equip them. Like I don't know. It's fine. 7 completed. Activate by choosing attack or defense, and a machine monster of your choice gains 700 attack or 700 defense.
Not
That's
really worth it.
cute,
You
but
should have
like we
Malevolent
already
Nuzzler at this point,
yeah, I've got 3
which
of
is
I've
just
got
so much better.
I'm gonna have 3 of them, so spoilers. I've got the playset. I'm not looking for 7 completed, and I doubt I want more.
Right.
Okay, I actually want 4-starred Ladybugs of Doom. This is
This
one of the
card
ones I
is
had read.
nuts.
This seems insane.
It
Because it's
is.
not level 4 monsters, it's level 4 monsters your opponent controls.
Yes. And level 4
Does
monsters are
the
arguably
main
your best monsters
yeah.
right now.
Okay. My question is, if they're set face down, does 4-starred Ladybug of Doom still hit them?
No,
Okay, okay,
because
phew,
they are
phew.
considered unknown.
Okay, good. So there's some recourse. I was like, is this just even more cracked than I think it is? But yeah, so 4-starred
No.
Ladybug of Doom, I'm sure we will see some play.
Yep.
Bite Shoes. Flip, change the battle position of a face-up monster on the field.
I wouldn't consider
I
this any
wouldn't.
good.
No, it's cute. I'm guessing if you're in the battle phase and this gets flipped and they have another attacker, I can shift it to defense and then it won't be able to attack. But like, there's better things for me to run than Bite Shoes. So it's cute though. It's like cute art, cute concept. Bombardment Beetle. Flip. Pick up and see a face down defense position monster card on your opponent's side of the field. If it is an effect monster, destroy it. Its flip effect is not activated. But if it's not, return it to its original position. This is like, I didn't pick up any man-eater bugs. I guess I would just really have to think how many effect monsters are going to be set. Like, it can pop Sangans, witches, but they'll float. It's better at popping like the magic rulers, like attribute recruiters, I guess. But I don't know if I want to run this.
I don't think you would want to run this.
Like if I'm desperate, but I feel like it'll just be so sad when every time I go to kill something, it's just one of those 2K defenders lying on the field, and like
Right.
this will do
With the
nothing.
prevalence of 2K defenders, I don't think it's
Yeah.
worth it.
Bubonic Vermin. Flip. Special summon a Bubonic Vermin from your deck in face down defense position, then shuffle your deck. I guess it's more thinning.
It's thinning, but I don't think you
Do I
value
need
that
it? It
thinning
doesn't
that
do
highly.
any. Like, Germs already do more stuff. Nemanga gives life. Germ deals damage. This just. I guess it's face down. I don't know. It's fine. It's more if we need it, but like we're already going to have a good decent amount of recruiters and floaters at this stage, like already 3 episodes in, so. Okay, after that, it looks like we're in the normal stretch, so this should go by pretty fast.
Yep.
Cyber
The only ones I
Falcon.
think you need to pay attention to are Girochin Kuwagata. I apologize for butchering the
Yep,
name.
1700.
Island Turtle, Sky Scout,
Cool.
and
All right,
then
I'll check them out.
maybe for tributes, Twin-Headed Fire Dragon and Wing Weaver.
All right, let's check those real quick. So Cyber Falcon, nope. Dark Bat, nope. I think the Darkfire is a 1700 4-star fire, so like that's not the worst.
Right. Oh, I missed that. Yeah.
Okay, so
There's a
both
few
of these,
1700s, and then
both of
Sky
these are
Scouts an
yeah.
1800.
Okay, so both of these are 1700s, and I don't they fuse into something. I have a feeling I've seen Darkfire on a card somewhere.
It might have been. I honestly have no idea.
We'll find out another time. I've got a feeling I've seen him, but I remember the names coming up somewhere. But yeah, I mean, we're already moving off of the 1600s, I find. Like, we're getting our 1800s. Anyway, we'll see. But you know what? No one's really running any fire cards. So if you want to run this with the plus 500 fire and just try that, we'll see. Dokuro Yaiba, nope. Flame Champion looks cute, but it's a 5, so no thanks. Flying Kamakiri number 2 wishes it was good. Okay, so Girochin Kuwagata is the 1700 win, so this looks fine. Like I could see that being played. Gradius is bad. Okay. Island Turtle's a 2K defender, so another
You probably
water.
have plenty of those, but if you somehow need another,
I have 2 Aquamador. This is just like Aquamador with like 100 less attacks. I think Aquamador has a 1.2, but like if I need more water 2K defenders, Island Turtle's here. I'm probably, we'll find a few. Mr. Volcano. So this is a 2100 5-star. So this is like Cerberus number. Okay, fun fact. It's not Cerberus. Did you know why I couldn't find it in my list for a long time? Because every time I tried running Cerberus, I couldn't find the card. It's Flame Cerebrus.
oh, weird.
So when I'm typing it, Cerber, as soon as I put the R and then the B, I'm not finding it. I'm like, what's going on? It's because
That's
it's
some weird naming
Cerebrus.
schemes, like Dark King Hades. That's supposed to be Hades in
Yeah,
Japanese.
yeah, I figured. I just think it's so funny because there's other Cerberus cards later, but this one is Cerebrus. Anyway, fun fact there. It is also an 18 defender, but this one is only a 13. Look, it's another 2.1k,
Yep.
and sometimes that's what you need to get over 2k defenders. I won't be happy to run Mr. Volcano, and I don't plan on it. But it's there if I need it. Oni Tank is bad. At least it's got like balanced stuff. Overdrive 16k, we're already past that. Science Soldier looks bad. Skull Mariner, we're past 1600s. It's so sad, right? Just 2 episodes ago, we're like Skull Redbird, and here we are going, ugh, 16k, go away. Okay, Sky Scout 1800. We'll want some more Sky Scouts if we still
That's
want
the one you
that
want to pick up,
number.
if anything.
Yeah, 1800
And if you
and
pick up
Wind.
Sky Scout and that Beetle card that has a
Yep,
Japanese name, like,
yeah, Kuwagata.
you may be able to play the Wind spell.
So exactly what I was thinking. So let's say you pick up like 3 side scouts, a bunch of these Girochin Kuwagata. Zphil has 3 elegant egotists and 3 harpy ladies. And I was like, Zphil, you should play the harpy lady OTK. Because with
Oh,
the field
God.
spell, they're big enough to get over 2Ks and deal a bit of damage. So who knows? Maybe he'll take me up on it. I don't think so, but
Hmm.
all right. Souls isn't there. Spike Bot is not there as a 5-star. Steel Ogre as 6 is already no, this is worse than we've already got access to like the 3K defender in Labyrinth, so I don't think we'll be seeing that one. All Seeing White Tiger, nope. So I know Thousand Eyes Idol is actually used for something, I believe. It's used
It's part
for
of the materials
Thousand
for Thousand Eyes
Eyes. Yeah, okay.
Restrict,
I
but
guess.
you don't want to actually summon Thousand Eyes Restrict. You're
I
cheating
just
that thing out.
I just remembered that this was part of it. Three-headed Guido. No, no thank you. Okay, so twin-headed fire dragon. This would be fine, and I'd be happy to pull it because it's a 2.2k attacker for still 1 tribute. So I would actually be okay with, maybe 1 or 2 copies of
If you're
this.
still
Just
doing tribute summons, this is reasonable.
I still need something to get over my opponent's monsters. I have no removal, so Wing
Then I think you might
Weaver.
like the next card.
Yeah, okay, so Wing Weaver is just better than a Dark Magician. I guess if you pull Wing Weaver and we really need to, we have a big top end fairy light. Oh my god. It is what it is. Okay, so I know Cold Wave is the nuts. Like obviously, if we pull it, it's going to be
Yep.
gross. And because the way our format works, where we're just banning, like we're not following a ban list right now. Like we'll see if we change our minds on that. But the whole goal was keep it simple, stupid. So we did not want to have to, like I didn't mind, but for players who are learning, I didn't want to have Crimpy and Zphil have to then look at a ban list every week to figure out which one we're at. So we said, look, we'll ban, and then eventually, if we think things are out of hand, we'll limit, we'll ban more things. So Cold Wave will probably be here for a while. Um, I know it's
It's
good.
not at its best right now,
No,
just
but
because
in
the
in
card quality isn't as high.
yeah, but
It
as
might
soon
still
as
win some games just by preventing your opponent from countering your winning
yep,
attack or whatever,
yep.
but
There's
it's
nothing.
definitely not at its best here where you can just shut down your opponent entirely
Yeah, it's gonna be good though.
because the power level of things you can do is weaker.
100%. So insect imitation. Fun fact: this is like Eldritch Evolution, but like 20 years ago, which is really funny. It's tribute a monster, and you get an insect whose level is 1 higher. So I don't really have the deck to make use of this. Like it would be nice if we had some 5 or 6 stars insects, or a 5-star, so we could turn a 4 into. But like, um, it's from the deck, but I don't think we just have anything at this point that uses it. I don't know if a deck ever uses insect imitation, but it's the kind of thing that I'm like, okay, well, I have to pay attention to my insects as it comes. Anyway, I'll keep that in mind, but I doubt it's going to
I don't
see.
think it's that good.
I do not want to increase the life points of both players by 1,000. That's all I want to say about
Very
random
fair.
mercy. I don't even know if I want to increase my life points by 1,000, but I definitely don't want to give it to my opponent and myself. Like, it's not giving me a card. This is no what is it? Goblin
Upstart Goblin.
upstart goblin. Yeah. So it's no upstart goblin. There you are. There you go, friend. Okay. Clicking back here. Okay, so we got some more traps. It's really weird how these sort these. They do like spells, traps, effects, and then there's like they're not in order you would expect. Whatever. Armored
I'm not sure what's
glass.
going on with
I don't
this.
know either. You can only activate this card when a monster is equipped with an equip card. Negate the effects of all on the field. No, I don't like the fact that it's all equips. Like if I want to mess with an opponent's equip stuff, I would just use like Tailor of the Fickle or there's a board wipe that hits everything equipped. I don't think I'll be running armored glass, right? Am I undervaluing this?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
don't think it's worth it. It's also only one turn.
Oh, then okay.
And it's also just negating the
Ugh.
effects. It's not like the equipments
Okay.
are negated either.
Nope, that's not what I want then. Attack and receive. Only activate it when you take damage to your life points. Inflict 700 to your opponent's life points, and then 300 points of damage for each attack and receive card in your graveyard. Did you play
It's not
this
the
in?
most embarrassing burn card,
No,
honestly.
because it's 700, and then the next one is 1,000, then 1,300, because you can only get
Yeah.
about 3 copies, unless you're playing like the ninjas or whatever. Not ninjas, the mask that returns traps. Like, I'll keep an eye on this. I don't think I will play it, but at least it
I think
exists.
this is something you play as a 3 of. I'm more skeptical of it as a 2 of,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't play it outside burn.
Okay.
If you
No,
end up with
obviously
a
not.
burn
Yeah,
deck,
yeah.
I think this is totally serviceable. Like,
Yeah.
it's not the best burn card, but you're going to be taking damage. That's just going to happen. So it's not dead, and it deals what is a respectable amount of
Yep.
damage for burn cards of this era.
Mm-hmm. Driving Snow. Activated only when one or more of your trap cards are destroyed and sent from the field to the graveyard by a card effect your opponent controls. Already, that means I'm not likely going to be able to use it now. But, destroy one spell or trap is neat. But no one's actually destroying my trap cards because I literally only have two-pronged attacks and like one Robin Goblin. So I'm unlikely to use
Right.
this.
I don't think it's worth playing, honestly.
No.
Like, the effect is very good, but the condition to get it met is very hard at
Yeah.
this stage in the game because, again, spell and trap removal is scarce.
Yeah. So Earthshaker, I was looking at this the other day. You select two monster card attributes. Obviously, you're going to try and pick two that your opponent has that doesn't really affect yours, but then your opponent selects one of the two. So this seems too situational because, like, let's say my opponent runs out, he's got two creatures. I'd have to have nothing, and I'd have to have two attributes of theirs to pick. And when it says monster card attribute, this is just like dark, light, wind, right? It's not
Yes.
their type. Yeah, so it hits a really broad category. I think I'm unlikely to get my value from this.
I don't think
Um,
it's worth it.
and yeah, but I mean, obviously, even if I pick something that I don't have, if they don't have it, they just name it and then nothing happens. So I don't know. I don't think we'll see Earthshaker. Enchanted Javelin is really funny because I remember I used to play this in like
I did
elementary
too as a
school
kid. Yeah.
because it was like I blanked your monster. Sweet, right? And because sometimes they're attacking into your defender and you're not taking the damage, you can go up like an absurd amount of life, but it doesn't actually win you the game.
It's not
um
very good.
but I remember running it being like, all right, I gained 2.5 off your dark magician, like, okay, cool, and then the next turn I just get hit for it. So it's like, all right, gamble. Activated only when your opponent's hand is 6 or more cards and your hand is 2 or less. Okay, so this won't happen. Isn't
Yep.
the max hand size is 6, right?
Correct.
So toss a coin, call heads or tails. If you call it right, draw until your hand has 5. If you call it wrong, skip your next turn. Nope. Maybe
Pretty
without the skip
bad.
your next turn, but wow, that's rough. Um, Gift of the Mystical Elf, increase your life points. No, I'm not running this. Like,
For
it's
each monster on the field,
we've
I
never
would
gotten much
probably
more
play
than
Solemn Wishes over it.
okay, yeah. This is like 1.2, and that doesn't feel great. Like Enchanted Javelin almost feels better here, so that's not great. Gust activate. So this is just the driving snow, but for spells, right? Activate it when one or more of
Yeah.
your spell cards. So this is more likely to succeed because we're running equips, we're running stuff, we're running paralyzing potions, and sometimes our opponent has In this case, has access to not True Nade because True Nade puts back in the hand, but Heavy Storm, right? But like
Heavy
outside of
Storm, yeah.
that, here's the thing: if they've Heavy Stormed, I don't need Gust. You know what I'm saying? So right now,
Exactly.
no one's got single target spell or trap removal. I mean, people have remove trap, but like I'm only running it because I'm on one Robin Goblin and my opponents have three, right?
Right.
So I don't think Gust and Driving Snow are going to be it. Okay, Major Riot. Activate this card when one or more of your monsters are returned from the field. But okay, already this is so situational. Return all monsters on the field to your respective hands, and then you special summon from your hand the same. Okay, no, I don't think we're playing Major Riot,
Not
right?
worth it.
This is like the kind of thing where someone's going to tell me, like, yeah, but actually in 20 years, there's like a really sick combo you can pull with this. And I'll be like, yeah, I can see it. But like right now, it's not doing it for me.
Yu-Gi-Oh can do Cold Fusion if it gets uninterrupted, honestly,
You can activate this
in the
card.
modern era.
Oh, and it has to be by your opponent's effect. So anyway, okay.
Yes.
Metal Detector. Activate this card when a continuous trap card is activated. Negate all. Oh, but it's only during the turn it's activated. It doesn't feel good enough.
No.
And it's only
Mystic Probe is
continuous.
the same and also just
Oh, is it?
not great.
Oh,
It's
continuous
for
spell.
spells instead.
Okay. Hey, well, at least they're doing like a 1/2, a 1/2. Okay. Um. So Shadow of Eyes is cute. It might be one of my only outs to my opponent's 2K defenders. Not that I would feel great playing it because it's
I don't
so
think you want to
situational.
play this.
It's just the idea. I just want to get my opponent to play out their 2K defender with like 300 attack and they go, oops. And then, but I don't think you want to,
It's
right?
very funny, but I don't think it's worth it.
So we've been laughing about Solomon's Law Book for a while because we had looked at it ahead of time. But is this the same thing on Magic where sometimes skipping your standby can actually be good? But is it ever worth a card? The answer is
Absolutely
no,
not.
right? Okay, good.
No.
Okay.
There's some effects that I think Mirage of Nightmare is a notable one,
Okay.
where
Okay.
it's
Okay.
discard 4 random cards in your standby,
Okay.
I believe.
And it's only
Uh,
your next. It's not always your. It's not skip your standby forever. So,
yeah,
um,
not worth it.
so Time Seal seems like it could see play, but
I don't
like
think it's worth
it's
it at
not
this
worth the
point in the
card, right?
game.
Because I'm going. Whenever I play a Time Seal, it's like I'm skipping a draw for them to skip a draw, and I have to be sure that I'm like able to leverage that, and I don't think I can do that right now. So,
Time Seal is only worth playing when it's abusable, I feel.
okay, so
Which, when it's abusable, it's nuts, but it's not. So
and this is World Suppression. It's the negate a field spell, but it's only for the turn this card is activated. So again, I doubt it'll see a spot. So honestly, commons here. There's some 17 and 18k attackers might be worth keeping an eye on. 4-starred Ladybug of Doom, and obviously keep an eye on Insect Barrier, DNA Surgery, Light maybe, and then we said Burning Land potentially. But everything else is kind of in the good to exist, but especially all
attack and
these.
receive for burn.
Ah, yes, attack and receive for burn. Sweet. All right.
And aside from that, and Cold Wave being relevant,
Cold wave. Where
maybe
was it?
later.
Yes, cold wave. Exactly. All right. So let's go back up to short print. I think these are all cards we've actually already seen. So they'll just show up. Nope. Numinous Healers. Wow. One card. You can only activate it when you take damage to your life points. You gain 1,000 points. And okay, it's just the attack and receive, but healing, right? This doesn't seem as good because it's good job. You prolonged your suffering, but your opponent's still alive. So okay, that's a no from me, dog.
Clearly, they're
Okay,
experimenting with life gain this
it's
set, and
cool
it's not
though. It's
particularly.
here's so people warn me. They're like, oh, maybe you should consider skipping dual monsters. Like they said, go straight to GX and all that. And I go, we're here to learn. And I'll be honest, I had a lot of fun slamming monsters into 2K defenders. Like I find it actually enjoyable gameplay.
Sure.
I play Lorcana sometimes, so like I'm like, oh hey, Lorcana's kind of got this similar like just slam things into each other that feels nice. And but I've loved the progression so far. Like our decks have already been super different. I don't want to say super different, but relatively different. So I'm enjoying this era of Yu-Gi-Oh's printing some weird stuff, some really bad stuff, but it's fun to see them. Anyway, rares, let's go. Prohibition. The fact that cards already on the field are not affected is and I want to be clear. When it says cannot be used, does that mean like if it's a monster they can't be played?
I don't believe so.
So it's just like okay.
What
It's
it
like
I'm not
abilities or?
100% sure on that one, honestly.
All right,
I
I'll have to
believe
test.
monsters can still be played, but their effects can't be activated.
Okay, that doesn't seem so good when my opponent's beating me with a vanilla 2.5k. So,
Exactly.
um, which is wild because when you think Magic, you're like, hey, Prohibition's an actually good card because it's the kind of like,
Yeah.
um,
If
you
it said
name,
cannot be played, I believe that
yeah.
would stop monsters from being played. But
Is there a
cannot be
world?
used would only hit spell and trap.
Yeah, there's no world where, is there a world in Yu-Gi-Oh where you land an early Prohibition if you're going first, you name one of their key, I don't know, but again, it doesn't prevent them from being played. But I don't know, it
I
negates
think it
effect.
has seen actual play
Yeah,
at
okay.
points.
I don't think right now it's going to be very good. But later on, when I don't know, I'll keep an eye on Prohibition. Probably not for now, but for later.
Yep.
Appropriate. Activate only when your opponent draws a card outside of either draw phase. So none of us have pot agreed. Just to put it out there.
Right.
So after that, each time your opponent draws a card outside of either draw phase, immediately draw two. This looks neat,
There's
but like,
weird circumstances where you can make this work, but generally it's not worth it.
and like the recruiters and stuff don't say draw, right? It just puts it in
No,
your
they
hand,
don't.
right? Yeah, okay. So
There's a difference between drawing and just
good.
tutoring.
Yeah, I'm happy that's the case because that's how I know it from Magic too. So force requisition, activate this card when you discard from your hand. Eek, not off to a great start. I mean, my opponents have triple Robin Goblins, but after that, each time you discard from your hand. Oh, okay. Do I run
Yeah.
this if my opponent's on 3 Robin Goblins and I go, haha, you're also gonna lose your
I
hand?
don't know if it's good enough for
Is
that,
it worth a
honestly.
card? I don't think so.
I don't
All
think
right.
so.
Gravity Bind is good. I
Gravity
know
Bind is nuts.
I know Gravity Bind is great because if you're the one playing it, you're already abusing the fact that you're probably running level threes and not level
Exactly.
or yeah. So the reason I know this card, like I said, is that water theme deck I was talking about used to run in it. There's 3 copies of a legendary ocean, which make your water monsters 1 level lower. So all your 4 waters are actually threes. So then you play Gravity Bind or like level limit, like that kind of stuff, and it was just really really funny that was like
Right.
in a starter deck, and I was like, hey, this is fun. And now today when I play Magic and people are like propaganda and I'm like, oh, grown. But I'm like, you know what? I started
Gravity
with
Bind
this.
was fun for the time.
Yeah, I think it'll see play a little bit. I think if someone gets enough stuff to be able to use it, I'm sure we'll see this card for a while. Um, I mean, it combos
For
with
what
all
it's
that
worth,
insect and
this
stuff. So.
card will continue to be relevant until the Xyz era.
Oh, sweet. Is it
So if
so?
just
Why Xyz
because
specifically? Is it because once
because
you
they
hit
don't have
Xyz?
levels.
Ah, oh, really? Are you telling me
Yeah,
like,
they're not
oh,
affected by Gravity
oops.
Bind.
So
Ling monsters and Xyz monsters are not affected by Gravity Bind or anything that cares about levels.
so the little pips on Xyz monsters aren't called levels. What are they called?
No, they're ranks.
Oops. Okay. Well, learning something new here, folks. I'm glad I know this before we get to it. Okay. So they're
Yeah, it
ranks,
won't
not
be
levels.
relevant for some time,
No,
but
but good to know. Skull invitation. Each time a card is sent to the graveyard. Is this like from anywhere? Um,
yes.
okay. Interesting. 300 points of damage. So when something dies, when something's tributed, when something is discarded, like if you've
When you
got three.
play a spell,
Okay. So does the full burn deck run it just because?
I don't
Uh,
think so.
oh, it's cute though. I like it. I know Magic Drain is good. When your opponent
Magic Drain
activates a
is
spell
very good,
card,
yes.
they can discard a spell card to negate this card's effect. So it's very rare. Like obviously, if they discarded a spell card, yeah, it's not great, but they also had to pitch something, right? And then it negates
Exactly.
and destroys. So I think Magic
It's also
Drain.
a counter trap, which isn't as relevant now, but might be later. Uh,
Yes. Oh, true. Counter trap. Is that because that's it's like a speed thing, right? It's like a
it's a
chain. It's
speed thing,
okay.
exactly.
Okay.
Where if you use a counter trap, it can only be stopped by another counter
Counter
trap.
trap. Okay. What about quick play spells? Are they also on the same speed
Quick
or is
play
that
spell.
lower?
There are 3 spell speeds
Yeah.
in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3.
Quick
1 is what Magic would consider sorcery speed.
sorcery. Okay.
2 is instant speed.
Okay.
3 is exclusive to counter traps.
Okay. Cool. Super. Nice. Okay. So counter traps really are the I pop and it was really cool reading up on chain because for a long time I never understood the difference. And now I finally do. The idea of like even if stuff gets added during a chain resolution, it doesn't go on that chain. It will form a chain afterwards. And I was like, oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
cool. I actually like it. I
which is
think that's
different
actually
from
kind of
Magic.
yeah. So okay, keep an eye on Magic Drain. It's a rare, so it's not guaranteed. I've been notoriously bad at pulling rares, but I would like a few of these. Hayabusa Knight. Okay, it's a cute ability. Make a second attack. I don't think it's good enough. Um,
There's a world where you play a Hayabusa Knight deck with a lot of equips,
okay, so like, okay, so
but
Knight, Nuzzler, and then Hayabusa OT. Okay, all right, I could see
yeah,
it.
but you really do have to have a deck for it. It's not
Yeah,
something
okay,
you can just throw in a generic deck.
yeah. All
It's
right,
something you do have to build around a bit.
I'll if ever I well I didn't pull him. Well, anyway, I won't say it, but there's a card I didn't pull that would have been good in that deck, but I don't have it. Mad Sword Beast. This card doesn't seem great, but it's nice to know that piercing battle damage exists. But as a 1400, it doesn't get over anything that's in 2K. Is it
That's
like
more or less correct. I will
okay?
say, as a note, piercing damage wasn't keyworded until much later in the game, like
Oh yeah.
partway through the synchro era, I think.
Oh wow. But the wording
Yeah.
on here has been updated. Then is that correct? Then because it used to be like
Yes.
okay, it would have said something else. Okay.
It would have. I don't remember the exact wording off the top of my head,
Okay.
but I know that there was a card called uh, Bora the Spear in the Blackwing deck
Mm-hmm.
that has piercing, and
Okay.
that wasn't written as piercing damage. It was written as something
I'll keep
else.
an eye on that.
So piercing is one of the few true keywords
Yeah.
that
Wow.
Yu-Gi-Oh has.
Good to know. Vampire Baby. End of the battle phase. If it destroyed a monster by battle, sent it to the graveyard this turn. Special summon it. I don't think Vampire Baby is going to be killing anything with
Nope,
700
it's
attack.
too small.
Oh, imagine if it was a little bigger. Oh, well.
Well, you
Um,
have cards that are kind of like that. I don't know if they're in this set, but they're coming up.
Morphing Jar number 2. Flip, shuffle all monsters on the field into the deck. You excavate until you excavate the same number of monsters. Special summon all excavated level 4 or lower monsters in face down defense position, and the rest go to the graveyard. Okay, so it's in the same Cyber Jar, Morphing Jar kind of suite of
Yep,
they flip everything
it's a
like
jar. It's
it's a
good.
jar. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh my
I
god,
think
we're gonna be
most of
dealing
the
with these
jars at this
forever.
stage in the game are somewhere between pretty good to absolutely nuts, and I would lean towards the latter
Yeah.
on this one.
There's you can expect a lot of cyber jars. Again, it's already happened, but there will probably have been a lot of cyber jars in the episode earlier this week. There we go. Dimension Hole. Select a monster on your side of the field. Remove it from play until your next standby phase. While it's removed from play, you can't. Okay, it's like a flicker, like a slow flicker, but nothing has enter the battlefield effect.
It's not good.
Okay, good. I was like, someone's gonna tell me it's good. And I'll be like,
No, it's
really?
not
Okay.
good.
Nobleman of
And I believe it's
Extermination.
not even special summoned.
Oh,
Yeah, which is
oh,
very weird.
okay.
But returning something to the battlefield from
The
is different than special summoning it.
okay,
So
good to know. Nobleman of Extermination. Select just that's a cool first 3 words. Select, destroy, and remove from play a face down
yeah,
spell or trap. If it was a trap, oh, so actually it can hit spells. Okay, but it's
yes,
only
as
if
long
it
as
was a
it's face
trap
down.
card. Both players must remove from play all copies of that card from their decks. My
This
one
card is
cons
phenomenal for this
at
time
this era,
period.
right? Yeah, but I feel like
Yeah,
afterwards, like if I'm
it
actually
gets
going,
outclassed by a lot of stuff,
okay,
uh, and only being able to hit face down is a real downside.
that's what I was
There's
thinking.
also
But
sometimes your opponent will just chain a trap card to it. They
so
can't always because sometimes it's something like Robin Goblin,
yeah, so my
or maybe it's
question
a
is,
bluff with a
let's
spell
say,
card.
well, couldn't they chain Robin Goblin to a Nobleman of Extermination activation?
Yes, but it would still be, but the target would still be hit by it.
Oh, okay. It's just it had to be face down when I
It has to
selected
be
it.
face down as a target.
Oh, okay.
Flipping it face
Okay.
up does not change
Better
that.
than I thought. I thought the flipping did, which is why
Yes.
I was concerned. Okay. So Nobleman
Yeah.
of Extermination, good. Awesome.
Good to keep an
Uh
eye on.
so Shallow Grave is just Exhume, right? From Magic. Everyone gets like one of their creatures back.
I don't know how good it is, honestly. I can't evaluate this one. I don't think it's good. It's also it puts them both in face down defense position, so
Yep.
your opponent's going to be able to flip theirs before you can flip
Ah,
yours.
then yeah. Okay. Keeping an eye on it though, but yeah, that's what I figured too. Light Force Sword, banish a random card from your opponent's hand face down, and then 4 standby phases later, they get it back.
Not really worth it.
Doesn't seem really good. Like
It
Delinquent
just
Duo
doesn't
is
do enough.
Duo is great because it hits 2 things, right? Like
I mean, even hitting one thing would be good,
But they get it back.
but you're using a trap card and they get it back and just
Okay. Yeah. I know Michizure is good, right? This is the one that.
Michizure is 4-man Sakuretsu armor,
Yeah. Okay. I
and
don't.
that's pretty good for this time period.
I will use it if I can get this thing. When a monster is sent from
Yes,
the field to your graveyard, even during damage, destroy something. I will run Michizuras if I get it.
yes, it's very good.
Shift. When your opponent targets exactly a monster you control and no other cards for an attack, or with a spell trap effect, target another monster you control that would be an appropriate target. That attack, spell / trap now targets the new target.
It's not the most embarrassing thing.
No, I can see
Like if you're low on stuff
for
to
an
do,
attack or with a spell or trap. So it's actually pretty broad, but it
yes,
has to go to one of your things. Okay. Um, I mean, I guess it's the kind of thing where, like, let's say I have Magician of Faith and then a 2K Defender, and I would really like my Magician of Faith to get popped, but like, okay, I can see it being useful, but it falls in that bracket that's like potentially useful but quite situational. Like,
exactly.
these cards will fall off fast, I think, as once we start picking up like actual stuff. Monster
I think
Recovery.
Michizure is generally just better than Shift anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine I'll play Michi until, like you said, Sakuretsu Armor comes out and some of these other cards. So, Monster Recovery. Like, when do we get Evacuation Device? Like, a bit later, right? Like, we're
I
not
can't
quite there yet.
remember honestly.
I'm looking forward to having removal, I swear to gosh. All right, Monster Recovery. Quick play spell. Target a monster you control that is owned by you if it's still on the field. Shuffle it and your entire... What the hell? And your entire hand into the deck. Also, after that, draw cards equal to the number of cards you shuffled from your hand into the deck by... Okay. But I don't get my monster back. So it's just
Nope.
draw a bunch of cards?
Yep.
Is this good? Is this
I don't
like
think this is good.
I saved my creature from being destroyed. Haha, now I draw a bunch of
Well, it still
cards.
gets,
Yeah, but then I don't have a field. Okay, doesn't look great to me.
not worth considering really.
Okay,
And then we
so
go to
now
supers, I think.
supers. I know Mirror Wall is good.
Yes.
Mirror Wall seems
Even if
fine.
it's just one turn.
Yeah, it's the fact that they have their attack halved means they'll probably, take a pretty decent brunt and it'll keep my stuff alive. Or if they're attacking one of my attack up face up cards, they'll just straight up lose their monster. Look at me about to say creature again. Like, I can see this being good, and then you don't have to
I
pay
will
the
say
2,000, right?
something important about this is that they have to conduct an attack while it's on the field.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, while it was.
So you don't
Oh,
want to
okay.
activate this at the end of main phase. You want to activate
Each.
this, I think, in response to an attack, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, right? Each of your opponent's monsters that conducted an attack while this card was face up on the field. So you do it during attack declaration, right?
I believe.
I remember using this in some of the video games. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I will remind myself to go and test Mirror Wall in gameplay just to make sure it works that way.
Right.
But good card. Like, I won't be unhappy to see a Mirror Wall in my super rares. Gearfried is an 1800 attacker that cannot be paralyzing potion. That's what I know.
Yeah, that's good enough.
That seems fine to me, and it's 16k defense, which is also not bad. It's a shame
Yep.
it's not 15 because it means we can't tutor it out, right?
Yep.
But yep. So I remember I used to run Fairy Meteor Crush, but this card is not really good, right?
It's not really good, but I will say there is a very funny thing with it, where you can equip this to your opponent's monsters, and that means they inflict piercing damage to themselves.
Oh.
It's still not worth playing, I would say. But it's very funny.
That's the kind of shenanigan I wouldn't have thought of. But you know what?
Yeah, it never specifies
Hold
that
up.
it has to be your monster.
Well, let me check something. Tailor of the Fickle is switch an equip card to a monster to another correct target. So I Fairy Meteor Crush my own card. They attack unknowingly. And then I quick play Tailor of the Fickle. I don't know. There's something really dumb
I don't
there.
think it's good enough.
It's probably not good,
funny.
but I think it's cute. So we already read Parasite. So Drill Bug, bad. Parasite, not horrible.
Honestly, it's probably not great.
It gunks their deck, right? Like, if they
gunks their deck, but only a little.
They take 1,000. Like, if I'm playing the Uber Burn deck, do I run this? It blocks an attack.
Probably.
Okay, yeah.
Like I would play this in burn. I think it's reasonable.
And do you play it if you pull the full insect barrier DNA surgery package? Because it turns all their shit into insects, right?
I would consider it.
Okay, I'll
I
keep an eye.
honestly can't say how good it is,
I doubt
but
we're
like
pulling.
I think it's fun to play.
I doubt we're pulling three of them, but I'll keep that in mind. Nobleman of Crossout. I'm looking at the prices here, and suddenly this one goes to 10, so it's probably a good card.
Oh yeah,
Target a
this
face
card's
down
nuts.
monster on the field, destroy it, and if you do, banish it. Then, if it was a flip monster, each player reveals their main deck. Okay, this seems really good.
It's nuts. It's
We're,
absolutely nuts. It
yeah, face
is
down, but
phenomenal removal at this stage in the game,
yeah.
and saw play as late as Edison.
Okay, so Nobleman of Crossout, really good card. We want much. We want many of them.
Possibly later, but I stopped playing around Edison, so
Backup Soldier. While there are 5 or more monsters in your graveyard, target up to 3 non-effect monsters with 1500 or less attack in your graveyard and add them to your hand.
I don't think it's worth it.
It seems too situational. Yeah,
I
unfortunately.
think the other thing is you want big vanilla monsters.
Yeah, I don't want.
So,
And it's non-effect. Yeah, I'm not running normal. Yeah, okay, never mind. That doesn't work. I thought it was
yeah,
any 15
no.
or. Okay. Dust Tornado is fantastic.
Dust Tornado is fantastic. I
I
don't
want.
think you need to
Why?
say more than that. It's really good spell trap
Why
removal.
are these all at super rare? Anyway, knowing my luck, I will not pull one. But yeah, target a spell or trap, destroy it, and then you get to set one. That's so nice.
Setting is mostly irrelevant.
Is it?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Oh well, okay.
I
Okay,
don't
well,
think there's much more to say. It's a good piece of spell trap removal,
yeah.
which is all it needs to be like phenomenal at this stage in the game.
All right, cool. Grave Robber. Select the spell card from your opponent's graveyard. You can use it as your hand until the end of. You can use it as your hand. I'm assuming there's.
I'm not sure what that means.
You can
honestly.
use it as if it was in your hand until the end of the turn. If you use it, is it like I get to play one of those spell
Honestly, no
cards?
idea.
I think that's what it does. I don't know if it's good though. Like
I don't
2,000
think
damage.
it's good.
Yeah, and
One spell card is not worth a fourth of your life points.
well, we've already lost Change of Heart and we've already lost Monster Reborn, so that
Yeah,
won't
so
even
the
be on the
powerhouse
field.
cards are gone.
So I know about magical hats from the anime. So during
I
your
think
opponent's
most
battle
people do.
phase, choose 2 spell trap cards from your deck, 1 monster in your main monster zone. Special summon them all as normal monsters in face down defense position. Set the chosen monster if it is face up. Shuffle. Okay, essentially it's it and then 2 spell traps from your deck all get essentially turned into 0/0 defenses. So like, haha, it's hidden. And then the 2 cards chosen from your deck are destroyed at the end of the battle phase and cannot remain except during. Okay, so it's like a 1 turn, keep one of your things alive, maybe?
Maybe.
This seems so much better in the anime. Is this card actually garbage?
There's a lot of cards that seem better in the anime, and this is definitely one of them.
Is
I
it the
wouldn't
fact?
play it.
So the problem is obviously is in the anime, cards are glued to the protagonist's hands, so you draw them at the right time and not like at the
Yeah.
worst possible time.
Also, it's only 3 cards and not 4, so
What? Well, here's the thing: there's no world where the good part of this is putting 2 speller traps into the graveyard. Is there
Nope.
any? No. Okay. Well.
there's
Okay.
no real benefit to this card.
Because I was like, is this like in Magic where there's like I can entomb some spell traps and that's good? I don't know. Probably not. Limited
Not
removal.
at this stage in the game.
I would love
And
to be able
later
to
on,
play
when it
this.
becomes relevant, there will be
Yeah.
better options to do it.
Oh well. All right. Limited removal is very cool. I'm sure someone will figure it out, but I don't think
I don't
any
think
of
it's
us have
usable
machines.
here.
But like later
Uh,
on, there's some solid machine archetypes, right? That having
Yeah,
a quick
absolutely. Like,
play.
if you get this and a Cyber Dragon, that's like
Yeah.
4,000 damage.
Yeah. Okay. So keep in mind limited removal for the future, but not today.
Not today.
That was the super. So all we have left is ultras, then secrets.
Mhm.
All right. Okay. Call of the Haunted is such a famous card. It's fantastic. I want as
It's
many
another
copies
Monster
as I can
Reborn.
get.
That's all that needs to be said.
And it's the same as premature burial, right? These are both in the category of get a bunch, be happy with them, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you can get any number of them. I will say Premature Burial eventually becomes the better card. Because it's an equipped spell, and it
that
turns
matters.
out you can do some kind of great stuff with that.
When this card is destroyed, destroy the. I want to see something. Does Gear Freed destroy? Yes. Okay. Never mind. Don't Gear Freed premature burial. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it would destroy premature. I was just wondering if it was something else. Like anyway. Okay. These are both good. Call of the Haunted, premature burial, Crimpy, Zphil. Grab these cards. Buster Blader.
It's
Like,
whatever.
it's bigger than a Dark Magician, and if it actually this can kill Blue Eyes, right? Because
Yes,
it
it
becomes a
can.
3100. All right, no one has Blue Eyes, but I'll remember Buster Blader. I know
Yeah.
Gob. No, never mind. This is not the one I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of like the troops that you just tribute to destroy. This is not it. This is just
No, that's
a
Exalted Exiled Force.
exiled force. No, this is
This
not it.
is still very playable.
This is a 23. Oh, it's a 2300 attacker. If it's attack, it's
Mhm.
changed to defense position at the end of the battle phase, and its battle position cannot be changed. So that means even if I use a spell to change it, it's just
Yes,
this
that's
gets
correct.
okay. It gets one big attack, and then someone's probably gonna go over it. But
Yes, exactly.
okay, I
Which
mean,
is still very reasonable. This
this thing
card
can pop a
is,
Jirai Gumo, and we saw Jirai Gumo's doing work last episode. So
yeah.
all right, cool.
I'd compare it to Jiraigumo
Yeah,
in terms of how good it
I'm
is.
I'm totally fine with not having to spend 4,000 life points to get an attack, and it's cool. Um, the Fiend Mega Cyber is like pardon me, your budget Cyber Dragon, right? At this point,
It's budget Cyber Dragon. I would
because I
probably
would play
play
it
it
because
at
it's
this point.
still it's better than my Flame Cerberus, right? It's a
Yep.
2.2k, and if ever they manage to get two, I just special summon it, and then that
Yeah.
feels good. And
It's not the most insane thing to special summon, and
it's a
if
dark
tribute summoning still isn't bad, it's fine.
it's a dark monster with 1.2 thousand defense, so there's like other ways of getting it out, right? You can get it out with some of the
Which of the Black Force can tutor it
yeah.
at the very
Um,
least?
what about hold up? What about Mystic Tomato? It summons a dark monster. Oh, those are all attacks. Sorry. Okay. Darn. Okay. So it's the
Yeah.
witch. Sorry. All the other recruiters are attack. Oh, okay. Well, that makes
Yes.
sense. They balanced it. Good job. Good job, Konami. You did it. Legendary Fisherman. Unfortunately, it's not a 4-star. It's a 5-star. But while Umi is on the field, it's unaffected by. Okay. It's
It's not
like
very good.
it's just like Deep Sea Warrior, but also he exists. Okay. We just talked about premature burial. We know this is great. The chances that we manage to get Thousand Eyes restrict are so low. I think
I would keep an
someone
eye on this in case anyone gets Metamorphosis later on.
does this. Will this work with Instant Fusion and Magical
Yes, it
Scientist?
does.
And okay. So a reason to maybe want to have one for that in the future. I know
I will say
Zphil.
one of the I think it's the Lost Millennium cards or the big packs.
That's
They do reprint Thousand Eyes Restrict,
okay.
but this is a nice card to pick up because worst comes to worst, you can use it as removal. It turns Instant
Yeah.
Fusion into removal.
Yeah, which is what I was thinking. That's like the good part.
Yes.
No one's actually going to do Relinquish plus Thousand Eyes Idol after
God,
having
no. I
done
don't know if
Black
anyone in
Illusion.
the history of the game has ever summoned it that way.
I'm half tempted to force Zphil to do it because I think it's Zphil who pulled one copy of the ritual, one copy of Relinquished. So
Oh, God.
and I'm sure there's enough Sonic Birds and Senjus to get there. So we'll just keep that in mind. Beast of Talwar is a 6-star 2.4. Oh, that's actually thick for
It's
a
fine.
6-star. Wow. Okay. I mean, like, isn't this is okay? It's better than anything I currently have. I'm sure the Arc Fiend probably doesn't matter for this vanilla, but like for this normal monster. But I like it. Like I would probably replace my Cerebruses with this.
Right?
Ceasefire. If a face down defense position monster or an effect monster is on the field, okay, change all face down defense position monsters to face up defense. Does not activate flip monsters, but then deal 500 damage to your opponent for each effect monster on the field. Is there
This
like
is
a
a solid
build?
burn card. This
Yeah,
continues to be a solid burn card
Oh my
later
God.
in the game.
Because this seems like that's a lot. 500 for each, and it
Yeah.
also includes your opponents, right?
Yes, it
Okay.
does. Yeah, it's a solid burn card. You can deal a fair amount of damage. Even if it's only 4 effect monsters, which is like you and your
So-
opponent's field, that's
Yeah.
still 2,000 damage.
So actually, none of the like face down stuff technically matter. The important part is just 500 damage for each effect monster that's on the field. Right? Just period, right?
Yeah. Just
Okay, yeah.
effect monsters on the field. It
Alright.
also gets around morphing jars, which is
Right.
sometimes relevant.
There we go. Cool. Chain Destruction. When a monster with 2,000 or less attack is summoned, target one of them, destroy all cards with that name in its controller's hand and main deck.
It's
but
a trap
not-
hole. You'd play a trap hole.
But it doesn't destroy the one on the field, right?
Oh wait, yeah. I misread that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah,
was
okay.
bad.
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
mind.
But if it did
I
on the
was
field,
confused
I
there
was
for a
like,
second.
wow, oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah, but it's like, okay, you
No,
played this
no.
one and I get to remove all. No, we're not running enough stuff that this matters right now.
Both of the secret rares in this
I
set
know
are
they're nuts.
bonkers.
I know they're nuts. It's wild
Yep.
that IO is 2 point. Is this because this is like banned everywhere? Yeah, okay. Yeah, negate all spell effects. You pay 700 life to keep it around. This card is nuts. Everyone knows it. Like,
Yep.
it's until it gets banned, this card's just gonna like do a lot. And then Jinzo just does a lot. It's another 2.4 attacker that just
It's a 2.4
can't.
for attacker that's really hard to deal with.
Yeah, can't deal with it. It's also a machine for limiter removal, I guess, but
True.
good to know. And then obviously negates all trap effects. So if your opponent's up on 3 Robin Goblins, they are no longer. So
Yep.
there's a lot of stuff to love in this set. There's a lot of stuff to ignore as well, but it looks like it's going to potentially add more removal that we haven't had access to. It's going to add some decent beaters to up what we've got, and hopefully we can pull some of these Call of the Haunted's, Premature Burial, Michizure's, like all of that. I'm excited for Pharaoh's Servant. I'm looking forward to opening this on next next is it next Saturday? Yeah, on Sunday. I'm excited to open this. So again, we're opening it on Sunday. But
Right.
we'll you know what? That makes me yeah, anyway, it's fine. I'll figure out the perfect schedule for where I should release the reviews compared to the things, but I want it to make sense for people at home, so you know. Because we're opening our Pharaoh's Servant packs on Sundays after we record the Magic Ruler matches, but we're only putting that video on the next one. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I think I might. Maybe I'll have to post this like later today. Maybe that makes more sense. Anyway, it's all cool. Everyone's gonna figure it out. Maybe there's a few spoilers that slip in. I'll figure it out. But that's a wrap on Pharaoh's Servant, which means we don't have a lot left to check. I know there's virtually nothing in Tournament Pack 1 except for maybe 1 or 2 cards that I've got my eye on, but Tournament Pack 2 has maybe a few other things. So,
Yes.
all right.
Tournament pack one isn't really worth discussing much. You
There's
have
there's
mechanical chaser,
that's it. That's the
and
one I
that's
want to
about it.
talk about. 1850, $577.99. Um,
Yep.
it's an 1850 attacker. This gets over fish. It falls off like immediately after that, but if any of us could have pulled one, we would have been happy. None of us did, and we've only got one more shot at this pack. So, and I don't think Axe Raider's going to be great either. I don't have an Axe Raider. I think I have a Quaggar Hercules, so a 1900 fusion. I'm not going to be playing that either. None of the equips are good. I'm assuming the substitute fusion materials are also equally horrible, but it's cool that they did that like right away. Like I
Yeah.
would have expected
There's
this to
better
be
versions that come out later.
okay. It's just wild that this is literally in the first tournament pack, which came out between the first 2 sets, and they're like right off the bat, hey, guess what? Fusion substitutes. Like this is something that they came up with so early. It feels like something that they would have thought about much later, but yeah,
Right.
there's nothing else, right? Like I'm just gonna name them for like completion's sake, but like Cockroach, this is all bad. Wodan is bad. Like these are all just very bad cards. I don't think we played a single one of these. Like they're cute, like Shining Friendship, cool art, Judgment Hand. It's literally just somebody's hand, and it's a warrior for some reason. I don't get it, but yeah, none of these are particularly. There's a card called Wow Warrior. I love it. They're so bad. Um, then it's all the that little suite of like these equipments that are just not really great. Rai Mei, 300 point burnt. This is so bad as a rare. Blue medicine is worse than red medicine. Like these are really bad. Like,
It's all pretty bad except for mechanical
and that's
chaser.
it. Mechanical Chaser. And honestly, I think if we had pulled Axe Raiders in between episode 1 and 2, we would have played them, but I think it's already fallen off. So, hey, that was Tournament Pack 1. Thanks for stopping by. Time to go to Tournament Pack 2. We'll go to the commons. I know there's a few more interesting things here, and there's some stuff I want to question. The very
All
first
right.
card at common is Crawling Dragon. It's a dinosaur. I go down to
Yep.
Two-Headed King Rex. It's also a dinosaur.
Correct.
Where are my dragons?
Early
But
Yu-Gi-Oh was weird, man. I
Parrot
don't know what
Dragon
else
is
to say.
one. I checked the commons. I think there's nothing in the commons that's actually good. Even Two-Headed King Rex is already surpassed by the time we'll get there. We'll have enough 18Ks and stuff. I looked at all the other ones. I really don't think any of them match up, I believe. It's really funny that I'm just mousing over going attack defense, attack defense. So
Yeah, that's all
crawling,
you have to care about
dancing,
with vanillas.
but like,
That level.
and sometimes I'm like, ooh, 1800, and then I look at the star, and obviously it's 5 stars. So I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing in here. It's always funny if someone makes a comment that's like, well, actually, this random one, because of its attribute and type, and it's exactly because sometimes Yu-Gi-Oh apparently does this. It'll be like, this is the archetype, and then the support is like, get a spellcaster that's dark with exactly 1500 defense, because that's kind of like the follow line. I'm like,
Yep.
so I'm gonna have to go back
And
and look at
sometimes
it.
you have random vanillas that meet
Yeah,
that criteria.
but I think
Like
that's cool.
recently, level 1 pyro monsters, pyro fire monsters became a big deal because of Snake
Because of
Eyes.
Snake
And
Eyes.
so you
Yeah,
would see
okay.
some rancid cards.
I know
Cards that
I.
are otherwise unplayable,
That's
making
so funny.
sense in Snake Eyes because they met the criteria. So
So
sometimes that
yeah,
just happens.
I only know of Snake Eyes. Like I've literally never fully read a Snake Eyes card. I just know about it because MBT talks about it, and other people have been complaining about it or discussing it.
Oh yeah, it was a tier
Um,
0 not too long ago.
oh well, there is that. Like I know there was a big ban not too long ago, and people were like, "Oh, is this enough?" Is so, but
Yeah,
that is
it seems
so
like it
far
was enough
away.
because there are other. It's still a top deck. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like it's still a tier 1 deck, but it is no longer you are on Snake
Uh
Eyes
huh.
or you are playing the format wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Let's look at the rares. There's 10 of them. I know most of them are not very good. So, mystical sheep.
I will say that the only nothing here is really worth talking about
Oh
aside
yeah.
from a neat piece of trivia, which is that Novox's Prayer and Skull Guardian were the inspiration for a recent archetype called Voiceless Voice.
That's so cool. I love.
Yeah,
Is that what they call retrains, or am I using that term incorrectly?
that's not quite a retrain.
Okay,
A
that's just kind
retrain
of
is when they take an old archetype and add new cards to it.
okay.
This is making a new archetype based off of old
Okay.
cards. So the new
So
Vels and Hungry Burger
that's
would be another
exactly the one I
example
was
of
going to
that.
use. But
Yeah,
is Hungry Burger considered a retrain, or is it
no,
no?
no.
We took a card and we decided to make an archetype around it.
More the latter, I
Okay,
think.
cool.
A
I was
retrain is more like adding new cards to an old archetype.
okay.
But when you get back this far in the game, archetypes didn't really
Yeah,
exist as we know them today.
that's really cool.
So it's often finding a card like, for example, Buster Blader. There's now a Buster Blader archetype
Nice.
that I don't think ever saw real play. Some of the individual cards did, but
Okay. Cool stuff. I love it.
yeah.
I'm a big Hungry Burger fan. I remember that card vividly, like the artwork when I first started. So when I heard that they were like, yeah, this is Nouvelles, it's like they're fiends, right? It's like a
I think so.
fiend. It's a fiend restaurant that I'm like, oh yes, this is so cool. I love it. All right,
Yeah, it's
so
and then the one other card of note,
yeah,
I don't think either of the super rares, any of the super rares are worth noting. But
well, hold up.
Morphing
I'm just gonna.
Jar is
I'm just. We're
very
gonna go up in a second. I just want to mouse over just for my completion's sake, because
okay.
so
Sure.
mystical sheep substitute. We know these doesn't matter. Warrior of
Yep.
Tradition is a 1900, but it's a 6. I'm not getting enough Sonic Maids and beautiful head huntresses. This is just not gonna happen. I like pronouncing this name of this dragon. It's what Mikazuki no Yaiba. So cool name. Not gonna play it. Soul of the Pure increases by 800. We're still not here, buddy. This is not what I want. Revival of Dokuro Rider and Dokuro Rider are again. It's weird that all these rituals are still vanillas. Like
Yep.
they're supposed to be a big stats, but their stats are still so bad. It's really cool that you told me that Novox's and Skull became something, and it's funny because Novox, right? No voice, right?
Yep.
Very cool.
Exactly.
I love it. I'm not playing a 7-star ritual 2050 attacker. I'm sorry. I've got
Absolutely not.
and 2.5 defense still not good. I've got labyrinth. So let's go all the way up to was it super? Yeah.
Mhm.
Dragon Seeker. Okay, that's really niche. That's really funny that it just destroys a dragon. I don't think this will see
Probably not
play.
worth playing.
Giant red sea snake is more copies of 7 colored fish. So and because they're
That's all it
also
needs to be.
waters, right? And I think
Yes.
7 colored fish is also an aqua. Is it? Is it
I
aqua
don't
or is
know.
it a sea
I
serpent?
might be a sea serpent. I'm not 100% sure.
It's a no. It's a fish. Then why isn't
Oh
they?
wait, fish. Yes.
It's fish, but sea snake. Okay, I guess it's not a fish. Okay, makes sense. But still, 1800 attackers, water. If I pull we're not going to pull 3 copies from tournament pack, but and it's a super rare. Exile of the Wicked. It's really funny and extremely niche, and I don't like the art because it's just literally like priest with cross going like by fiends. But anyway, is someone gonna run
It
an
might
all
be
fiend
good
deck?
later on as a silver bullet against something like Burning Abyss,
Okay.
but
Oh, fair
or other
enough.
fiend decks.
My
But
gosh.
unless you know your opponent's on that kind of thing, not worth
Yeah.
it.
And especially because we go round robin, and if my other
Yep,
opponent isn't on it, I'm not allowed to switch out cards. So, um,
exactly.
I mean, I could see a world where we like pre side deck, but I don't want to get into that. I love the you have to play best of one, just like in Master Duel. Your deck has to include everything you need. So I'm a big fan of that.
Exactly.
Call of the Grave. Now that we've banned Monster Reborn, doesn't do anything, so no one cares about this card.
Yep.
And last but not least for today is Morphing Jar. Both players discard as many cards as possible from their hand. Then we draw 5 cards. Um, it's banned for it's limited for a reason, right? This card's kind of nuts.
Yes. It is kind of nuts. You'd be happy to have it. I
Yeah,
don't know how good it is at this point in the game, but it's definitely something that, like, if you pick up a copy,
yeah.
you'll be glad you.
Does it get reprinted? Is the question.
I don't know off the top of my
I'm
head.
checking. I'm checking right now. Yes. It gets a lot of reprints. So in other tournament packs, in retros, in OTSs, duelists, champions, battle pack, epic dawn. Okay, it sees it sees some reprints. But yeah. So really, tournament packs at this stage aren't giving us anything. We want the 1850 attacker, maybe the 1800 giant red sea snake, but they're gonna fall off really fast. And it just means we get to look at some pretty cards for a collection, and obviously we're trying to pull Morphing Jar, which would be like the one card that's nice. That's pretty much it.
Exactly.
All right. Hey, with that, you know what that means? We've done a wrap on this deep dive into Pharaohs and some tournament packs, which means that's going to be kind of like the end of our video here, unless there's anything else we've missed or maybe haven't touched on. I mean, all of these sets are like slices of time, so obviously I have to think about them like how are they today, how are they next week, and then how are they in the future. And obviously, for most of the cards, it's in the future they no longer see play, but
Absolutely.
it's
But
really fun
there's a
seeing
fair
this
number that
history.
still do. Like, this set has a substantial number of cards that still hold up to this day.
Yeah.
Thousand Eyes Restrict, Premature Burial, Cold Wave,
Call of the Haunted. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Call of
There's
the Haunted.
it's funny how it's all the well, just like Magic, I guess. Like it's the non-monsters that are just kind of nuts, at this point. There's a few
Yeah.
like but cool. I'm excited to
Later in the
open
game,
this.
monsters become the name of the game, though.
Oh, it
So,
almost sounds like exactly what Magic did, where suddenly the creatures became the big bosses, but
yep.
I'm
But a lot of
excited.
the power spells you have in spell traps now,
I'm
and they stay
excited.
relevant for a very long time. If some would even be relevant today. I think Imperial Order was unbanned for a while, but got banned later on.
Yep.
It's currently banned
Yeah,
as of
yeah,
this
yeah.
recording.
So I think I've made my decision. What I think makes the most sense, and you can tell me if you think otherwise, I'll put the video up as like private or unlisted just for me and my friends so they can watch the review if they want before going into the opening and the deck building. But it's not important necessarily for them to know this stuff at opening. It'll be important for them to know it throughout the week while they're deck building. So I think I'll stick to what I said at the very beginning. I know I was like debating for a second, but I think this video is going to go up after the Magic Ruler gameplay so that chronologically things make sense again, where it's going to be you get the gameplay of the episode and then you get the review of the set that we're opening that week. Then that leads the people who are our viewers to the episode where we open those packs and play. So I think that makes sense, yeah?
Yeah, that all makes sense to me.
Sweet. So yeah, you can look forward to seeing this video come up in 4 or 5 days, maybe. I think I'll post. I don't know if I want to double post on the same day. I might do like one on Sunday, one on Monday, but we'll
That
see
makes
how I
sense to
feel.
me.
We'll see how I feel. Just it's nice to have two different days, or maybe I'll do Sunday, Tuesday to not overlap with actual prog. Not that it actually matters. No one, it doesn't really matter too much. So, but really, honestly, big thanks. I know this is like an hour and a half out of your evening, but it means a lot to me, Grish, that
No problem.
you're
I have a lot of fun with it. I will say I stopped being useful after the synchro era. That's where
well.
I no longer
It'll
go to
take a
card pool.
while
So
to
you
get
will have to
there.
find more people.
Well, what's nice, honestly, is that maybe when we get to that, we'll be able to like figure if things are maybe good or not at the same time. But I mean, there was a few others with who were with us last time, so I'm sure we'll find some
Yeah,
others. All right. So hey, have a wonderful evening. Thanks again for doing this, and I'll catch you on the Discord then.
sounds good.
Take care.